Hello everyone, welcome to iExamB and embrace the iExamB learning experience. Today in this video, I'll be going ahead and discussing about the Companies Act. So you know that Companies Act is a part of the syllabus of SEBI Legal Exam. And so in this particular video, today I'm going to discuss with you how you should go about to cover the Companies Act, and that too easily in the very first time for your SEBI Legal Exam Preparation 2025. So in this particular video, I'll be covering the different aspects or the approach with respect to going ahead with the Companies Act. Why Companies Act? Because it is that particular law which many of us feel that it is very vast and it cannot be done easily in the very first time, or it is very tough. So it is nothing like that. It's basically how you go ahead with its preparation. Okay, so let us try to understand what should be your approach to cover the Companies Act easily in the very first attempt. Okay, so what all you can do, we'll be discussing in this particular video. Now moving ahead with that, the very first thing which you have to do with respect to Companies Act is you have to understand the syllabus breakdown, as I mentioned. So basically you have to first understand that the Companies Act 2013, it is divided into how many chapters and then the sections, and why was it basically brought after amending the 1956 Act. All those basics you have to be very clear. Okay, again I am mentioning that it must look very overwhelming with the number of chapters and sections which the Companies Act has, but with the very right and structured approach, you can go ahead and manage it in a very easy manner and in your very first attempt. Okay, you can study and understand and clear everything about the law. Now, as I mentioned, you have to break down into manageable segments. You have to break down the entire Companies Act into key areas, and then you have to go ahead with it, how the things need to be done in a very systematic manner. Okay, so that is there, you have to do that. Next, what you have to do is the key chapters breakdown. So whatever chapters are there in the syllabus along with the sections which are there with respect to those chapters, you have to basically go ahead with that. You have to break down those key chapters and you have to see what are the focus areas in each of them. Okay, so some of the examples I'll be taking over here. Like for example, if we talk about the preliminary part of the Companies Act, what you have to focus on is you have to understand the definitions, you have to understand the very applicability or say the commencement of the act. Okay, so those are the basic things, the foundational things upon which जो आपकी पूरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है कंपनीज एक्ट से रिलेटेड वो बिल्डअप होगी. ओके, सो even if you're studying the Companies Act say for the very first time, you are not comfortable with the subject, अगर आप पहले उसके बेसिक चीजों को समझोगे, फोकस करोगे, उसके applicability, commencement, then definitions को समझने में, that will basically help you to have a foundation जिसके बेसिस पे आप आगे के चैप्टर्स को समझ सकते हो. ठीक है, फिर आपका इनकॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ कंपनी से रिलेटेड एस्पेक्ट्स आता है, जहाँ पे कि you will be studying about the various types of companies which are there. When you are studying that, you have to be very clear कि कितने type of companies हैं, what these companies basically mean, what are the features of those companies, any type of company which has come up, which was new one, which was not there in the previous law. All those you have to focus on when you are studying it. Okay, so that you have to take into consideration. Then the incorporation related aspects, then the various basic documents which are there, you have to understand those aspects. Then prospectus and allotment of securities. So under this particular chapter, what prospectus is, how the securities that can be issued, the various manners or ways with respect to that, all those you have to focus. अब ये जो सारी areas मैं आपको बता रही हूँ as an example for these chapters, these are actually very important from the exam point of view. ठीक है, so आपको accordingly जब आप पहले ही पढ़ रहे हो तो ध्यान देना है इन सारे टॉपिक्स पे. देन शेयर कैपिटल एंड डिबेंचर्स है, तो यहाँ पे जो आपको टाइप ऑफ शेयर्स, उसके इशुएंस, बायबैक, एवरीथिंग यू हैव टू बी क्लियर. बट बिफोर यू गेट अहेड विद दिस एंड गेट योरसेल्फ क्लियर विद दिस, आपको इंश्योर करना है कि व्हाट आर शेयर्स, व्हाट आर कैपिटल, व्हाट आर डिबेंचर्स. आप उसको आप बेसिक पहले मतलब समझो, एंड वो आपको कैसे समझेगा अगर आपने डेफिनेशन वाला जो प्रिलिमिनरी वाला पोर्शन है वो कवर अप किया है. That is why I said that is a foundation from where you can go ahead and begin the Companies Act. ठीक है, ताकि फिर आपको वापस जाके वो पढ़ना और समझना नहीं पड़ेगा। एक सिस्टमैटिक वे में आपने स्टार्ट किया है तो, ठीक है। देन एक्सेप्टेंस ऑफ डिपॉजिट्स है, उससे रिलेटेड पेनल्टीज है इन केस देयर आर वायलेशंस, व्हाट आर डिपॉजिट्स, वेदर इट कैन बी एक्सेप्टेड बाय द कंपनीज और नॉट, ऑल दोस एस्पेक्ट्स यू हैव टू take care. Along with that, you can see about the management and administration, then audit and accounts. So this is again one of the important areas जो एग्जाम्स के लिए आपको कवर करने चाहिए, ठीक है। लाइक इन द ऑडिट एंड अकाउंट्स ऑल्सो, इट्स द बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स, ऑडिटर्स अपॉइंटमेंट, ऑल दोज आर इम्पोर्टेंट, ठीक है। सो लाइक दीज यू कैन ब्रेक डाउन। सो नाउ यू नो दैट देयर आर 5-6 टॉपिक्स, हेडिंग्स विच यू हैव टू कवर, ठीक है। एक पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर भी बहुत लेंदी दिख रहा है, बट उस चैप्टर को भी हमने डिफरेंट इसमें ब्रेक डाउन कर दिया है, प्रोविजंस में, कॉन्सेप्ट्स में। सो इट इज वेरी इजी फॉर अस टू टेक वन थिंग एट अ टाइम एंड कंप्लीट इट, which will basically give us the confidence and the motivation to go ahead with the further concepts, topics, chapters, etc. So you have to break down the key chapters. Next, what you have to do is MCQ and Descriptive Exam Strategy. Now see, SEBI Legal का जो आपका एग्जामिनेशन होता है वो सिर्फ MCQ बेस्ड नहीं है, वहां पे डिस्क्रिप्टिव क्वेश्चंस भी पूछे जाते हैं, okay? And many a times the descriptive question might also include case law basis questions, okay? So MCQ और descriptive जब आप approach कर रहे हो, now what you should basically go ahead and do with respect to those. So now I'll be talking about the strategy you have to have when you are starting with the MCQs and descriptive questions. Now, when you are doing the MCQs, what you have to focus on is, say, the key definitions, the concepts, the provisions, कोई amendment है या नहीं है, all those you have to be very thorough with. Then what you have to do next is that you have to practice with the, what you will be practicing? Mock test. Very important. Again and again I have been talking about this. So mock test आपको solve करना है so that you can build upon your speed and accuracy, ठीक है। So MCQs के लिए क्या करना जरूरी है? Definitions आना चाहिए, concepts, provisions जो important है, along with that try to remember the important section numbers also, और फिर जो amendments है क्योंकि वहां से questions आ सकते हैं। When you are done with all these, so अब next अपना और command अच्छा करने के लिए आप क्या करोगे? Mock test को attempt करोगे, okay? Now talking about the descriptive questions. So what you have to do for the descriptive questions is you have to ensure कि आप उसको एक proper structure दे रहे हो. The answer should be in a proper structure, okay? So if we are talking about the proper structure, what it should be, you have to go ahead and structure the answer with an introduction where you will be stating the issues briefly, then you will be analyzing the relevant sections, their applications, and then you can conclude with a precise summary or opinion. Okay, so like this you have to keep the structure. ये companies act के लिए भी important है, otherwise for any other say question which is coming in the descriptive, आपको ये स्ट्रक्चर ही अडॉप्ट करना चाहिए, ठीक है। सो सबसे पहले जो डिस्क्रिप्टिव का प्रिपरेशन है वहां पे कंटेंट के अलावा व्हाट इज इंपॉर्टेंट इज द स्ट्रक्चर विच यू हैव टू एंश्योर दैट देयर इज इंट्रोडक्शन, देयर इज एनालिसिस, द बॉडी एंड द कंक्लूजन, ओके। देन व्हाट यू हैव टू डू, case laws and practical approach. Now the questions in the descriptive could be from the case laws. For that, what you have to do is you have to have again a very strategic approach, okay? Now for the case law based questions, if it comes in the descriptive, what you have to do is first you have to make sure कि Companies Act के अंदर जो भी important landmark cases हैं you are aware of it, ठीक है। Landmark cases में the first and foremost which we think which is one of the major landmark cases is Solomon versus Solomon, ठीक है। So आपको ऐसे ही और जो भी different important case laws हैं, landmark cases हैं, past and as of now currently जो भी landmark है वो सारा आपको पता होना चाहिए अच्छे से. Now when you are going ahead with writing a case law answer, you have to again ensure that the structure of the answer should be कि वहां पे पहले facts आप state करोगे, then legal issues करोगे, court का decision and then implications. So if it is a question, say for example with respect to the Solomon versus Solomon case, so उस case का डिस्क्रिप्टिव आंसर लिखने के लिए आपको उसके फैक्ट से स्टार्ट करना है, देन लीगल इश्यूज, कोर्ट का डिसीजन क्या था एंड उसके implications. Now talking about the right approach with respect to studying the Companies Act, so you have to read the Companies Act, then you have to clear the doubts, but read and clearing of the doubts is secondary. जो मैंने पहले बोला आपको वो करना है, उसको की चैप्टर्स में ब्रेक डाउन करना है या फिर की कॉन्सेप्ट्स, टॉपिक्स में आपको हर चैप्टर को ब्रेक डाउन करना है. When you know exactly एक particular chapter में what all things you have to study, then you can go ahead and start reading them. Then you can clear any doubts which you have with respect to that. Then you have to highlight and make notes. When you are studying, along with that, don't wait that in the second time you will be going ahead, then you will be writing or making the notes. No, when you're reading for the very first time, each and everything which you are reading, it should be highlighted wherever it is important, and then जो भी important pointers हैं उसमें से उसका आप अपना एक notes ready कर लो. आपने सबसे पहले क्या कर लिया? You have read the important chapters or the provisions over there. You have cleared all your doubts. You have highlighted and then you have made notes. तो अब क्या है? First attempt में ही you have been able to break down the company's act in a manageable portion and you are going ahead with that. Then you have to do revision and practice. So see, Companies Act is vast. It could be overwhelming for you. But उसको आपको कैसे सही तरीके से उसके लिए आपका अप्रोच होना चाहिए. तो आपने रीड किया, डाउट क्लियर किया, हाईलाइट किया, नोट्स किया. Then the next step is don't leave it over there. Revise it and keep on practicing with the questions. Take up say descriptive question, start writing the answer, see how well you are structuring it, how well the contents you have presented, how well the legal terminologies have been used by you in that. Analyze all those. For the objective part, attempt as many questions as you can, because see, again I will tell over here and I'll emphasize कि जब आप किसी concept को पढ़ रहे हो, say for example you have understood what incorporation is, understood what a public company is, a private company is, but when it comes into a question form with mere options, then it goes for a little confusion over there, जो कि एग्जाम के सिनेरियो में और ज्यादा confusion create करता है. So if you practice beforehand, you will be able to know how any topic can come into a question form and the near options and how you have to go ahead with the right answer. So with the right approach, the right answer can be taken care of. Now with all the discussions I have done, there are certain key things which you have to remember. If I talk about that, the first thing is that you have to focus on key chapters. So there are many chapters which you have to do. Okay. So try to focus on the very important chapters. Okay. Take out the key chapters and सिर्फ chapters जो important है वो नहीं निकालना है. उस chapter के अंदर आपका क्या क्या important है उसको भी आपको देखना है. Say for example, if I tell over here, as I mentioned lastly, auditors. अब आपने ये important chapter तो समझ लिया कि है. Now what you have to do, auditors में what all things you have to focus on. There are many sections into it, but what are the very important ones which you have to focus? Say for example, the appointment of the auditors, their tenure, their qualification, if any disqualification is there. Okay, all those you have to be very thorough with. Then you can say the very first step in your understanding of the chapter, the important provisions, you have taken in the right direction. Then you have to practice the MCQs. You have to familiarize yourself with the way the questions can be there in the MCQ form, the near options could be and all those. Then you have to go ahead. If it is a case law based answer, you have to give it a structure. Okay. So you have to go ahead, as I mentioned, with the facts, legal issue, court's decision and implications. If you have to write a descriptive answer, okay, so what should be the structure? There should be an introduction, analysis and conclusion. So ये जो case laws का है, this is actually a part of your descriptive. So descriptive कोई भी question आएगा उसमें आपको ये structure adopt करना है. If it is specifically with respect to any case, in this particular descriptive answer structure, you have to incorporate the case law structure also, and then you have to go ahead with the answer. Okay, so that will be the very right approach with respect to that. And you have to stay consistent. You have to keep on targeting a particular chapter, a particular topic, a particular concept in that. You have to go ahead, practice the MCQs. You have to write the descriptive answer. You have to make yourself aware of the latest amendments. And in this way, in a consistent manner, you will be able to cover up the Companies Act in a very systematic manner and in the very first attempt. So with this, we come to an end of our discussion. In case if you feel that you have any doubt or you have any questions with respect to that, you can connect us through the email ID or the phone number which is there, or you can write in the comment section of this particular video and we will be discussing with respect to that. Do remember to subscribe to the channel and press on the bell icon so that you can stay tuned and stay updated.